Young man attended a Wednesday night Bible study and the pastor preached about listening to God and obeying the Lord's voice. The young man couldn't help but ponder, does God still speak to people? After service, he went out with some friends for coffee and pie, and they discussed the message. They talked about how God had led them in different ways. It was about 10 o'clock when the young man started driving home, and he prayed, God, if you still speak to people, speak to me. I will listen. I will do my best to obey. As he drove down the main street of his town, he had the strangest thought to stop and buy a gallon of milk. He shook his head and said out loud, God, is that you? He didn't get a reply and started on toward home. But again, the thought, buy a gallon of milk came. The young man thought about Samuel and how he didn't recognize the voice of God, and how little Samuel ran to Eli. Okay, God, in case that is you, I will buy the milk. It didn't seem like too hard a test of obedience. He could always use the milk. He stopped and purchased the gallon of milk and started off toward home. As he passed 7th Street, he again felt the urge, turn down that street. This is crazy, he thought, and drove on past the intersection. Again, he felt that he should turn down 7th Street. At the next intersection, he turned back and headed down 7th. Half jokingly, he said out loud, okay, God, I will. He drove several blocks, when suddenly, he felt like he should stop. He pulled over to the curb and looked around. He was in a semi-commercial area of town. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst of neighborhoods either. The businesses were closed and most of the houses looked dark like the people were already in bed. Again, he sensed something. Go and give the milk to the people in the house across the street. The young man looked at the house. It was dark and it looked like the people were either gone or they were already asleep. He started to open the door and then sat back in the car seat. Lord, this is insane. Those people are asleep and if I wake them up, they are going to be mad and I will look stupid. Again, he felt like he should go and give them milk. Finally, he opened the door. Okay, God, if this is you, I will go to the door, and I will give them the milk. If you want me to look like a crazy person, okay. I want to be obedient. I guess that will count for something, but if they don't answer right away, I am out of here. He walked across the street and rang the bell. He could hear some noise inside. A man's voice yelled out, who is it? What do you want? Then the door opened before the young man could get away. The man was standing there in his jeans and t-shirt. He looked like he just got out of bed. He had a strange look on his face and he didn't seem too happy to have some stranger standing on his doorstep. What is it? The young man thrust out the gallon of milk. Here, I brought this to you. The man took the milk and rushed down the hallway. Then from down the hall came a woman carrying the milk towards the kitchen. The man was following her holding a baby. The baby was crying. The man had tears streaming down his face. The man began speaking and half crying, we were just praying. We had some big bills this month and we ran out of money. We didn't have any milk for our baby. I was just praying and asking God to show me how to get some milk. His wife in the kitchen yelled out, I asked him to send an angel with some. Are you an angel? The young man reached into his wallet and pulled out all the money he had on him and put in the man's hand. He turned and walked back to his car and the tears were streaming down his face. He knew that God still answers prayers. If you believe that God is alive and well, send this to at least 10 people. This is an easy test. You score 100 or 0. It's your choice. If you aren't ashamed to do this, please follow the direction. Jesus said, if you are ashamed of me, I will be ashamed of you before my Father.